Hey everyone, in the last video I showed you that I bought a new little computer off AliExpress to be my router for my network. And that was to replace the Raspberry Pi router that I've been using for years. But I had some issues with it, but they seem to be okay now, and I think it was to do with the memory, because what I did was I got another computer that had the same type of memory and I swapped the memory out, and I thought, okay, one of these will fail and it's either the memory or not. But that's been running for almost a week, or whenever I did that video, and they've both been running fine. So I'm thinking that it may have been due to the reseating of the memory, even though I initially tried that and it didn't work, but it seems okay now. So I've been running that new router as my router up here, and I'll show you what I've got set up, how I've got it set up now. Okay, now here it is. Obviously it's not going to stay like this because it's a bit of a mess, but I've got the LAN and WAN interface and also the mobile dongle here plugged into USB. And I bought this power adapter because as you saw, that came with a European one, which I didn't like. So I've got an Australian one here, and I've got it plugged into this TP-Link power meter, and that goes into a double adapter. And the reason is because I wanted to measure how much power this thing actually takes. And I found out something interesting, which I'll show you in a minute. And the reason the double adapter's there is because it can't plug into the wall with the other plug there. So that's all temporary, but I'll show you what I discovered with the power usage. Okay, now here's that power meter on Home Assistant, and you can see it's mostly between 6 and 8 watts. Idling it's about 6, but you can see some spikes here, and when I first noticed these spikes here was when I was doing an iPerf test, which I found interesting. So I'm going to do an iPerf test and show you what happens when I do that. Okay, so I'm going to run iPerf as a server on the router, just like that, and on this desktop I'll run it as a client to the server and make the time 600 seconds. I won't go that long, but so this is sending from here to the router, and we'll see if I can zoom in a bit here and show you what's going on. Okay, you can see it's spiked up now. It's spiked up to just about 10 watts, and as I said, that's the direction of this computer to the router. Okay, this is more up to date. It's 9 watts here, and now I've stopped it. It's gone back to 6 watts. And what I'll do now is I'll do it in the other direction. So as it says, that host is sending it to here. What have we got? 9.1, 9.1. So it's slightly less. This is what I noticed anyway over the long term. This is only 2 seconds to show you guys, but coming from the router to here, it's slightly less power than going the other direction, and it's also slightly less speed, which I found just a little bit curious. I know it's bumped up now I said that. But yeah, so it's 8-ish watts, just under 8 watts. But when I go the other direction, it jumps up to 10 when this updates. There, see? So I just found that interesting. It's also consistently above 900 too when going from this desktop to that computer, and it uses a bit more power. So it's just something interesting I thought I'd point out and show you. Now if I look at the performance of it, you can see it's living a charmed life. I mean, there's the network activity, which you can see I don't do much of. The processor here, taking it pretty easy. You can see where I just did that iPerf test a minute ago. Nothing special there. Everything's in the green, so I mean, it's really simple. And I'm actually going to reduce my internet speed from a gigabit down to 100 meg, because I just don't use much internet, to be honest, and a lot of servers can't provide a high upload to me anyway, so it seems pointless to have that high speed. So I could have just stuck with the Raspberry Pi, but I've got this now, and it's got its dual interfaces, so it seems stable, so I'm going to keep it, and it should be okay. Okay, so back out here, I'm probably going to move it above the switch and just run the cables up there and neaten it all up. I did shave a bit of the plastic off here because I had these like tags hanging off the side, and they failed up against the other plug as well. So I just filed them down, and I'll just plug this back in the wall now that I've finished measuring power. Okay, so that's how it turned out. And the longer that it's been online without an issue, the more confidence I've got in it. I would have liked to have seen one of them fail to know that that was the definite problem, but it may have just been that memory seating that was the issue. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that, and that's what I've been up to lately. So that'll do for now. Till next time, take it easy.